What's up? It's Matt, the overall bargain hunter here. Today I'm going to talk about how I went from being a teacher for 12 years to now being a full-time reseller. Hopefully, if this is something that you're looking to get into, some of this information will be helpful. If nothing else, I hope you guys enjoy the video. Overall, I'm going to have a good time making the video. Stick around to the end. I'll show you some of the things that I got this week that I didn't get on video. Let's go ahead and get started and have a good time. Just a little background on me. I started teaching in 2009-2010. I started at a charter school, and then I ended up at a middle school where I worked for 11 years. I left teaching in December 2021 to go ahead and pursue this full-time reselling. It is now April of 2022, so I've only been doing it for a few months. So far, I'm really enjoying it. I like the freedom with it, and I like kind of going to find the things. Any retailer will tell you that's kind of one of the most exciting parts, is seeing what you can find out there. As far as my journey goes and how I went from teaching to being a full-time reseller, to get there I really have to start with, I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit. Even as a kid, I would go around with a wagon, and I had some Christmas lights, and I'd go door to door trying to sell those. I used to do the lawn mowing business, always trying to find ways to make money. I'd go to garage sales and then try to sell those things. I've always done that since I was young. Originally, when I was teaching, during the summers or sometimes just during break, I would do woodwork. That's what I started with, and I've done that for a few years. I've built a lot of different things: picnic tables, coffee tables, end tables. I've refinished some older furniture, like some dining room tables that I found at Goodwill or things like that. And so I did that for years. And I've enjoyed doing that. The one thing, the last few years that I was doing it, I started making some yard games. So yard Yahtzee is what I called it, and then giant Jenga. Now those things are kind of commercial, and you can find those in stores. When I first started doing it, which was probably about 6 or 7 years ago, you really couldn't. Those were where I made a lot of the money, was on those smaller yard games. And that was fine, but it wasn't that exciting for me to build them because it's really a repetitive thing. So I kind of got burnt out on it a little bit, but I still did really enjoy doing it, and I'd always look at something and find a new project. Like when I first built a picnic table, I just happened to be at a restaurant where they had picnic tables, and I looked at it and thought, you know what, I can build this. I went home and tried to build it. What happened with COVID is that the price of wood skyrocketed. And so I wasn't really making money on those type of projects anymore, but I still like doing some side stuff. So I ended up going to a couple thrift stores, and I've always kind of gone to like the Goodwill Bins Clearance Center just to see what I can find. But what happened after I kind of stopped doing the woodwork because the price of wood jumped up is I started going to thrift stores a little bit more, and I ended up finding an autographed Mike Tyson boxing belt, and I think I paid $5 for it, and I ended up selling it online for over $200. Once I did that, I kind of got the itch to say, okay, let me see what else I can find. What ended up happening is I ordered an Amazon crate that had like electronics, and that's where I started. And when I ordered another, like a smaller one, it had some clothing in it. And when I went out to the booth, the clothing sold really quickly. I really didn't want to get into clothing at first, because I was really worried about, well, you know, you have to worry about all the different sizes, all the different styles. So what happened is I started getting into like all the anime stuff, the Fortnite, the Roblox, video game kind of stuff, and that started selling. So I ended up ordering more of it. I started off in the summer doing this. I started going to a bigger flea market here in town. It was a lot of work to set up. I had to bring my own tables and do all that. When the school year started, I kind of stopped doing it, but then I decided I was going to try the smaller flea market that's by my house, and that's the one that I'm still currently at, where you saw me do that setup video a couple weeks ago out at Eisenhower Flea Market. It was easy enough for me to do that on the weekends and then still do the teaching. So I was basically working 7 days a week. Well, the last few years with COVID and a lot of other things have changed teaching for me. I was a special education teacher for 12 years, and I really do still love parts of it. I decided, you know what, I really need a break. I started going into work realizing that I really wasn't happy anymore, and I felt like that wasn't fair, not only to the students, but to myself. I still really enjoy working with the students, so much so that I still substitute at my old school. I don't do it for the extra income. I really just do it so I get to see some of my former students still. They really like when I'm on campus and I really enjoy being there, but I only do that like once or twice a week at this point. But I realized at that point that I really needed to make a change. Since I was doing this thing on the weekend and it was making enough to cover my bills, I decided, well, let me just pursue it full time and start looking at the online aspect. So I started doing more selling on eBay, Facebook Marketplace, and OfferUp, and doing those type of things to see if I could even increase it even more. Now, I will say right now that it's still about 90% of what I make is out on weekends in the booth, and about 10% comes from my online sales. I'm trying to make those online sales grow, and I'm still working on that, but it is a process. It's going to take some time, but I'm enjoying it. Hopefully, I'm able to grow my online sales even more out at the market. I still plan to do that. It's really fun. You get to interact with a lot of people, and you always have interesting characters out at the market, so that's really fun. That's basically was my journey. I started with the woodwork. When that kind of faded out, I started doing more stuff at the thrift stores. I started ordering online. Now I work with several different suppliers from overseas for the hoodies and shirts, the crop charms, and a lot of the things that I sell in my booth at the market. And then I go out usually once a week, sometimes 2 or 3 times a week, to different places to try to find stuff to sell online. I am enjoying this journey so far. If it's something that you're looking into, I encourage you to keep doing it. It does take a little bit of time to build, but it is fun. Like I said, stick around to the end, and I am going to show you some stuff that I found this week. So we're going to get into that in just a second. I know this is a little bit different of a video for me, but I just kind of wanted to touch bases on my journey. I hope you guys are continuing to enjoy these videos. Next week, I'm probably going to do a Goodwill bins trip again. Alright, so this is some of the stuff that I was able to find this week. Last week in the video, I showed some games that I got from a guy for $2 each. He actually contacted me and said he had a whole box full of puzzles, and they were all sealed new, and that he would do it for 20 bucks. He said there was about 20 in there. And then these are not actually puzzles, but they were in there too, and there was 3 of these patchwork games. So the puzzles I'm going to take out to my booth and sell for $5. My mom took about 6 of them for Easter that she's going to use. So that's 15 puzzles, and then 3 of these, 18. And then at the bottom of the box there was these 2 how to draw books. And again, I'll take these out to my booth and sell them for $5. How to draw Beyblades and a mandala dotting practice book. So again, it was about $1 each for these things. I figured at that price it was definitely worth the risk. Puzzles are not something that I usually do a lot of, but at $1 each, I just kind of thought it was worth it. So the other things that I found this week, I found this Grateful Dead t-shirt, and I got this for $1 as well. It's not like a vintage concert t-shirt. If you look at the label inside, it is a Grateful Dead t-shirt, but it's copyright 2018. But it's still a really awesome shirt, and I think I'll be able to sell it online. I'll definitely get more than $1 for it, so that was a good find. The same place that I got those, I found these different things here. So one of the other things I found was this book, and I don't usually buy a lot of books, but again, it was $1, and its copyright is from 1943. So I just thought a book this old that's in that good of condition, hopefully I'll be able to make something for it. I just thought it was really cool that it was such an old book and in such good shape. All right, I also got this pack of dry erase markers. It's a 12 pack of dry erase markers. Since again it was new and sealed, I just figured that was a good find. And then the last thing that I have here is this Precision Railroad Models Cato 10-214 train case. Again, it was brand new and it was only $1. It still has the foam inserts that you can remove for the train. The sold comps for this was really good, so it was something that I was really excited to find for $1. So those were my finds for the week, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed checking those out. Overall, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. That's the way we grow the channel. This is Matt, the Overall Bargain Hunter, signing out. See you guys next time.